Hi, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our PerSim demo webcast. Looks like we have a number of people logged in, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. My name is Joe. I am with Journey Ed, and I'm just going to go through a couple of things here at the beginning before I turn it over to Dr. King. But what we're doing today is actually doing a demonstration on the PerSim system, which is having a tremendous impact in training, medical training, paramedic training across the nation. So again, that's what we're focusing on today. I will record this so that we can get it to you if you need to show it or would like to show it to someone else. Kevin, if you'll advance it for me. So what we're going to do today, we're going to keep everyone muted so there's no feedback. And if any point that you have a question, if you'll just use the chat feature and ask that question, we'll read them and I get those answered during the broadcast. But we'll just leave everyone muted and then use the chat feature for questions. Next slide. What we're going to do today, I'm going to finish up by telling you about Journey Ed and myself, and then we'll go straight into PerSim and finish up with questions and answers. Next slide. Just a little bit about Journey Ed. We are located in Allen, Texas, which is North Dallas. We've been around for 25 years, and we are the only educational technology store that focuses only on K-12 and higher ed. Those are our only customers, and we pride ourselves in being a Microsoft Platinum partner, an Adobe Platinum partner, and my specific department is all solution-based, meaning we go out to schools every day and work with teachers like yourself, and we are centered on AR, VR for augmented and virtual reality solutions, which is a growing area. But that's the focus of my department at Journey Ed. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Kevin, if you'll advance that. I am Joe Hutchison. I'm the one on your right. I'm a 29-year teacher, educator. I've been a classroom teacher, an assistant principal, a principal. I've worked at the collegiate level as well, and now I provide professional development with Journey Ed. So I'm in schools every day. I'm working with people like yourselves, trying to develop implementation plans and figuring out what will benefit you and your students the most. And I now am going to turn it over to Dr. Kevin King to let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about PerSim.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kevin King. I'm a board-certified emergency medicine physician, career-long educator, been doing education, paramedics, medics, medical students, residents for about 20 years. And I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of PerSim. Basically, PerSim is the first augmented reality medical patient simulator. And the important thing about augmented reality as opposed to virtual reality, augmented reality allows you to place a simulation into any environment that you can get into. So in virtual reality, the computer generates everything you see, everything you can manipulate. But in augmented reality, we can go to the back of your ambulance, to your simulation lab, to the classroom, to the side of the road, wherever you want to go, and the system will place the computer-generated image wherever you tell it to place it. And you're going to see a demonstration of that here in just a couple minutes. But the bottom line is we created PerSim to solve some key problems in what we saw in medical patient simulation. A lot of current solutions in medical patient simulation are very, very expensive, $100,000 plus. We wanted to make this affordable. We wanted to make it portable. The whole thing fits in a box. It weighs about 32 pounds on wheels, so we wanted this to be able to move around. In fact, Joe just mailed me back a demo system we had loaned them. So this is a very portable, durable system. And we wanted to make it very, very realistic to address some of the learning objectives that we think is currently being missed by current simulation technology. So let me give you a quick overview of PerSim and how it works. What we do is we take a Microsoft HoloLens, which is the cutting-edge augmented reality device on the market today, and we partner it with a couple of tablets. Those tablets allow us to both control the simulation as well as provide vital sign monitoring capability. And again, we're going to show this all to you. And the HoloLens and the tablet talk to each other using an included Wi-Fi router. You do not need an internet connection to use our product. Just a simple Wi-Fi signal will do. And then we can overlay the simulations onto the mannequins you already have. We also provide a mannequin, and this allows your students to reach out and touch. You can do things like CPR, and if you have mannequins that support procedures, you can also do procedures. So this is a very flexible system where you can either choose to use a mannequin or not. You can take it almost anywhere. And as I mentioned earlier, it's portable. It fits in this box. This is a screen capture from one of our videos. This is just a simple Pelican case with all of the equipment in it. Okay. But really what we're all here to talk about is the educational applications of PerSim. And we really think that there are essential skills supported by PerSim that are currently not fully supported by other simulation approaches. So, you know, when we talk about the learning approaches that we want to cover, you know, psychomotor, the ability to do things with your hands, or that procedural-based learning. But we also want to learn about emotional learning or affective learning, as well as clinical decision-making or cognitive learning. And so this allows us to simulate in a very realistic way patients, so we can look at the student's emotional response, assess their cognition, how they're thinking about that patient. Because what we're able to do with this approach is remove some of the instructor input that to date has kind of led the patient along. And then we can really start to assess their clinical assessment skills more thoroughly. For you high school teachers out there here in Texas, we've got just a list of Texas essential knowledge skills. PerSim, we've provided a 27-page document to Journey Ed. That document goes through the 3 major courses in the health professions schools here in Texas, and we've mapped things that PerSim can do to help address those learning objectives. I'm not going to go through all of this, but the bottom line is communication, recall, understanding, the application of knowledge, and then the synthesis of all knowledge and skills together to provide these decision and cause and effect relationships. We've also mapped this to EMT and nursing education. We can now, for the very first time, allow students to use their visual and auditory and physiologic data inputs with a minimum amount of instructor input. The instructor doesn't have to say, hey, Johnny, your patient is still seizing, or hey, Johnny, it looks like your patient is breathing harder. We can actually simulate that with a high degree of realism and allow students to really start to dig into what the patient is doing, what they look like, and how they respond to treatment. And so without a whole lot of additional info or a lot of more time on just listening to me talk, I'd like to show you PerSim. And so what I'm going to do now is switch over to our simulator view, and that's just going to take me just a second to do here. As I flip it around, there we go. And what you're going to see, what we have here, we're in a conference room, and my colleague, Hector Caraballo, who's also an emergency medicine physician, is wearing the HoloLens. What we've done is we've placed a mannequin on the table, and those colored dots you see, those are dots that tell our system how we want to orient the simulation in our environment. So Hector, go ahead and get the simulation to show up. He's going to give it a verbal command.
No.
Our full model simulation, this is the computer-generated image that you're seeing right now, and he's in mild respiratory distress. You saw the tablet kind of poke into view there for a second. And you might notice that he's breathing a little bit if you look at his chest. And now I'm just going to hit a button to take him into moderate respiratory distress. And we're going to see that amplitude of his breathing pick up a little bit, so is the pace. And then I'm going to go ahead and push the severe respiratory distress 1. You see the mannequin kind of fading in out of view. That's a bit of an artifact. You see the sweat on his forehead, starting to see some mouth movement with the breathing. And down here we can see a little bit of coloration change on his hand. And you see that mannequin kind of in the background. It doesn't quite look like that in real life. It's just an artifact of the HoloLens and the way it captures video. I've now pushed the respiratory distress 2 button. We see that amplitude of that breathing picking up, more pursed breathing, and that sweat's now coming down onto his face. And now if we go to the severest form of respiratory distress, we can start to see that sweat coming down onto his chest, and his face is definitely paler than it was. And then if we wanted to trigger a seizure like I just did, we don't have to say anything like, hey, Johnny, your patient is seizing. We just push the button. Johnny's then got to troubleshoot what he wants to do. Let's say he gives the appropriate dose of anti-seizure medications, let's say, lorazepam or something like that, and we don't have to say the seizure stopped. We can just push the button and let the seizure come to an end by itself. And so now let's take a look at the controller tablet.
So what I want to show you now is this is the controller software. So to control the system, we first will tap on a button that says load scenario, and then we can load our webcast. And what we have here is something that looks a lot like a storyboard, and that's exactly what it is. We've developed a respiratory distress storyboard for this particular demonstration. And what we've got here is from left to right, normal breath to severe respiratory distress. Those are just different levels of respiratory distress, and we've pre-mapped out a lot of stuff. So to change from normal breathing to mild respiratory distress, all we have to do is tap on it. So if we want to take the patient from moderate respiratory distress to increasingly more severe levels of respiratory distress as the student progresses through the scenario, we don't have to tell them your patient is breathing faster, he's turning blue, he's kind of got a gray cast to him, he's developing sweating. We can just touch the button and all of that changes. It also synchronizes to our tablet, our vital signs monitor tablet, which you'll see shortly, and that allows them to see the vital signs as well. And then we can do things like, let's say this is an aspirin overdose and this patient has severe respiratory distress. Well, one of the complications of an aspirin overdose, of course, is a seizure. So we could talk about how they see an empty aspirin bottle, but then we can just press CVA seizure. I don't have to sit there and the reason it says CVA seizure is the seizure is saved under our CVA part of our software. But the point is we can swap from severe respiratory distress to seizure, and I'm not telling the student, hey, Johnny, your patient is no longer breathing funny, now they're seizing. They have to see it, recognize it, and then take action to that. All right, so you're thinking, one of the other concerns we've heard is that creating a scenario can be a very laborious process. And I'd like to show you kind of what that looks like very briefly. So to create a scenario, this is our, I'm gonna switch over here to chest pain. We have a variety of different things you can choose from: respiratory distress, CVA seizure, chest pain, abdominal pain, and then we also have a baby simulation. I'm going to select chest pain. So we want to create a chest pain scenario. We can go ahead and drag in, like I'm having mild chest pain. We just drag it onto our storyboard like this, and we bring in our different ones. And then I'm going to come down here and pull in a couple of dead chest pains. And so when we select chest pain, you see here it's lighted up in yellow. Across the bottom, we have a variety of different options. We can choose different auscultations, like I can go ahead and make his lungs crackly, and then we can change what he looks like. We'll make him a little flushed, let's say. And then I can set my vital signs by adjusting it here. I can increase the heart rate, I can increase the blood pressure and save that. And then if I want to do a megacode, like an ACLS megacode, I can tap on dead chest pain, come in here to the vital signs, zero them all out, right? And then I can do something like select a different rhythm. So let's just say I'm going to choose VFib. And I can choose that VFib rhythm. And then when we select that in the simulation, the patient will have ventricular fibrillation. So what I'd like to do now is see if anybody has any questions. We're at the end of our formal presentation. Folks, let me answer your questions.
So Kevin, here's a question that was submitted. Can you put more than one student in the simulation at one time?
Okay, absolutely. We can actually link, we've tested up to 4 students. Each student would have to wear a HoloLens, but yeah, we can put multiple students and multiple team members on the simulation at the same time. Additionally, as you saw earlier when we were trying to get the other HoloLens to work, we can stream the HoloLens signal onto any really television or screen that you have. So you could put 2 students or 3 students on a simulation and in a different room have a group of students observe that simulation using the HoloLens streaming capability and assess and grade them. So this is a way of being able to both record student performance as well as helping other students participate by assessment of the folks who are actually running the simulation. Okay, let's see here. So Mike K, you asked, are there any pre-made scenarios included with the package? So if I might just switch back here to our tablet, I kind of want to show you what that looks like. So, we don't include any pre-made scenarios because, so for instance, this mild chest pain scenario, this could be an MI, this could be a dysrhythmia, this could be anything you want. It only takes about 10 minutes or so to set up a scenario. And so for instance, here I can just say this one is, we'll just call it demo chest pain. Let me type this in real quick. I'm gonna hit okay. We're gonna hit save. And then if I jump over here to the instructor module, I can go ahead and load demo chest pain. And again, what we're trying to do is provide you the tools to create your own scenarios, but we don't preload any scenarios with the system. All right, let's see here. So Mike Nelson, in your vital sign screen, why not create a 0 out button for a cardiac arrest instead of having to lower the pulse, respiratory, et cetera? That is an excellent question. So what we're referring to is on our editor screen, when I have to go in and give me just a moment to open my last demo chest pain. What he's talking about is when I adjusted the vital signs and I wanted to give the guy VFib, notice how it zeroed out the heart rate and the respiratory rate, but the blood pressure and everything else are fine. We're actually changing our code right now to do what monitors actually do. And when we select VFib, it's going to give you that dash next to the vital signs and trigger the alarms. So that's something that we have actually, that's actually something we're in the process of fixing as we speak, and expect that to come out sometime in the next several weeks. And then from Travis, what do packages look like? Do I need HoloLenses purchased beforehand? The answer to your question is, I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. The first part is the way the system is offered is we include everything you need to run the simulation software. The HoloLens, the tablets, the case, the chargers. We include a multi-channel charger to help facilitate your charging needs. And then we package that all up and send it to you. If you happen to be an institution that has HoloLenses already, we are able to load the software onto your equipment and then send you any additional equipment, such as the tablets and the routers and the case. So we have a variety of ways of doing that. If you have the hardware already, we can tie into your existing hardware. If you don't have it, we include that with the product. Oh. Can you save the scenario that was just run to ensure the quality of testing among different cohorts? Yes, actually you can. So we can, you can save the scenario like we just did. Is that what you meant? And you can use it over and over again. We also have the ability to back it up onto a computer as well as move it to other tablets. I have one other question from Bruno. What technical support is available if you have a technical problem similar to the one you are having? Well, so our technical support is telephone and email. When you call technical support, one of us picks up the phone or answers you, calls you right back. And we're able to provide that one-on-one technical support during business hours. So Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Central Time, we can provide that technical support to you.
Okay, well, seeing that there are no other questions, if it's okay with you and Hector, we'll end the meeting.
And then lastly, is a product upgradable to future releases? So, Mike, the product, we have designed it specifically to be expandable. So just to kind of give you a sneak peek behind the curtain, we expect to start work sometime in the next week or 2 on a new contract that will fund development of a full trauma module with both a male and female model. And that will be full trauma, blunt, penetrating, as well as traumatic amputations. So we'll have that. And that, the nice thing about our product is it's a software product. So really all we have to do is push the software updates to our customers to provide them with expanded capabilities. So as we develop new capabilities, such as new models or a grading module, which we're currently developing, we're able to provide that to our customers just through a simple software update. So the answer is yes, the product is upgradable to future releases.
Okay, seeing no other questions, again, we appreciate everyone's patience. We look forward to answering further questions. We're going to end the meeting now, and we will get everything to you in a timely manner.